Good morning to all of you. Legal aspects, the law. Whether you talk of WikiCulture or you talk of blogging or you talk of internet, whatsoever you do on the internet, you always have at the back of the mind that what I'm doing, is it legal? And over the last 3 days, I have been hearing out copyright issues which trouble you while you do anything in the internet. Is it legal? Is it illegal? Is somebody watching me? What I feel that you do know yourself that something is going wrong somewhere, that's why you're bothered, that's why you're worried. If you were doing something totally original, which you have not picked up from anywhere, you got not to be worried at all. The worry steps in only when there is something which you feel that you are taking out from somebody else's work, you're doing something which you're not comfortable with. That's what I'm going to talk here. And you are free to ask questions, and there have been few things which have been said by other speakers. I'll correct those mistakes. And that's my duty because I'm an advocate. I do need to contribute my bit to this whole movement. That's right. So I have that privilege of being an IITian, and then I went to law, and then I did a law, and then I am a practicing advocate. Now, how do I see the Wikipedia? In fact, it's a great learning for me as well. What I see that Wikipedia is doing excellent thing, which probably is impossible for an ordinary person to even imagine. It's uniting the entire world, making them feel that they're all members of the same family. It is bridging the gap between the haves and have-nots, the access to the knowledge which is to be restricted by the people who have resources, who have money, who can buy Britannica Encyclopedia and whatnot. But today, somebody just by getting hold of a computer, and then we have Minister Kapil Sibal a couple of months ago announced a tablet worth $3,000. Is it $3,000? And then with $3,000, you can get hold of a tablet and you have Wikipedia. So you need not buy costly encyclopedias, costly softwares, whole lot of knowledge with the help of Wikipedia if it is made available through this tablet ARCAS. What I see, the new generation particularly, they're not bothered about countries, they're not bothered about much of the issues which the world has been talking of. It's collapsing the physical boundaries. Today you have content, knowledge, friends from across the world, even you don't know who is from where. So the physical boundaries have almost been collapsed because of this Wikipedia culture. WikiCulture is an excellent movement in uniting and putting at rest the fights, the problems, the world over which everybody is facing. I have said I'm beginning to a passport and visa-less world. So you can, at least virtually, you are traveling to any country and every culture and every tribe and every group of people are able to meet, exchange ideas, exchange recipes, exchange dress codes, exchange anything without having a visa to that particular country. Rare knowledge can easily be preserved. Knowledges which are available in remote areas, they can easily be put on the Wikipedia and it can be made available to the entire world. So anybody's knowledge today, because of Wikipedia sort of movement, can reach to everybody. Anybody's knowledge to everybody. That's too big a thing. And the building trust among, I have been watching people around here, the beautiful community, trust that somebody has edited. There is a trust factor which is being, people are questioning that, hey, if somebody does a wrong editing or somebody puts a wrong information. At the end of the day, you do build up trust that what somebody is doing, you believe in him or her, that what he or she has done is believable. And this trust factor is going to go a long way. Then I come to law. What do you mean by it? How do you take law? Anybody from you? What do you mean by law? It's scary? It's terrifying? What do you mean by law? Set of rules. True. Any, between right and wrong. Very good. Anybody else? You're not supposed to? Cross. Guidelines. True.
Conventions formalized by society or government.
He's close, but everybody's answer do have some intent, some content of what a definition would look like. See, when I went to the law school, the first definition I was told, the law is a set of rules set up by superiors to rule over inferiors. That's what I was told, the first definition. Then later on, when I studied across the all the years, then I found out that in general, law is a rule of being or of conduct established by an authority, able to enforce its will, a controlling regulation, the mode or order according to which an agent or a power acts. It could also be said an organic rule as a constitution or charter establishing and defining the conditions of the existence of a state or other organized community. At the end of the day, you have somebody, as you said, society. Now, in today's time, in a democracy, we have representatives of society. We have elected member of parliaments. They go there in the parliament. Now, don't ask me about the quality of the discussion which they do in the parliament these days. But then these are the weak points of democracy. You have elected somebody. Somebody was sharing with me yesterday that who goes to vote? 2% of the population might have contributed in his election to the parliament. That's true, but what to do about it? Either we have to change the system. If we just keep criticizing, there is no end to it. But that's a system which is said, parliament is the society representative to make the laws, to make the rules and regulations for the betterment of society. I'll come to the point that what laws are correct and what laws are not correct. Few interesting observations on law of known people. Einstein says nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced. Don't you agree with this? And I have been seeing the inclination of majority of the people here to believe in it. That, hey, why do you have so many laws and why are you forcing me to conform my behavior to so many laws which I don't like? For example, smoking in public is banned. How many of us, right outside the Supreme Court, will find cigarettes being sold? Can't they see it? But what is happening in that? There is a guilty consciousness which is being developed in all of us that we are violating some law. A guilty conscious person is very easy to be ruled over. And that's the trick. That's a long discussion. I'll not go to that. Churchill said, you have 10,000 regulations, you destroy all respect for the law. Mark Twain, which all of us have been talking about, copyright is nobody's business. He says, only one thing is impossible for God, to find any sense in any copyright law on the planet. Gandhi, he says, an unjust law is itself a species of violence. Arrest for its breach is more so. And then the last, which I think the first gentleman who spoke today, he was talking about the majority. In the matters of conscience, the law of majority has no place. You know what is right, irrespective of thousands and billions of people say this is correct. That's none of their business. You do know at the core of your heart that what's right and what's wrong. So you are the last deciding factor, but that has to be practiced with caution. When you say, what do you mean by law abiding? I'm a law abiding citizen. It basically means, see, there are problems of democracy, and that's these problems I'm trying to bring out here. To be in conformity with the law, which could be local, municipal, national, international, state, central. These laws have been designed in a way that a rule of law remains in place to control, regulate the behavior, vis-a-vis everybody gets equal chance to progress. But there are problem areas in that. And what to be brought in conformity? It could be anything. Thoughts, words, what you say, what you not say, behavior, action. What you say, you're not free to say whatever you say. Freedom of expression does have restriction. The Constitution have restricted your freedom of expression to the extent it does not violate somebody else's right. So you want to say it, but by you saying so, somebody else's right is getting attacked. Somebody else's right, somebody else's reputation is getting attacked. So you have to be liable for the consequences if you say something which is not approved by the law. Now, I'm just trying, yesterday I made the slides. Before you do a thing, and it could be, you can apply this as to any area, not only to internet. Before you do a thing, you should run your action through a checklist. That is it approved? These checklist approvals will help you from getting into any problematic situation where you face police, you face court, you face violations, you face legal notices. So that's what I'm going to do here. And so is the case with Wikipedia. Whosoever does whatsoever with Wikipedia must run his or her actions through a checklist to be law-abiding. Wikipedia and law. There would hardly be a meaningful country, tribe, group of people which would have nothing to do with Wikipedia. In some or the other way, you're connected. Either you are editing, you are subscribing to it, you are browsing it, you are contributing, or your information is there. So in some or the other way, you're connected to it. And with such a large following comes the responsibility of being responsible and law-abiding. If you're too big, you're being watched. If you're too small, nobody cares. You keep saying whatever. If you go out and state anything wrong against any politician, nobody cares. But if Subramaniam Swamy says a word against Sonia Gandhi, it's taken seriously. All right? So who you are, that decides whether your words be inviting defamation or not. So if Wikipedia says a thing, it's too big a thing. Like Anna was mentioning yesterday time and again, don't quote me on Wikipedia, don't quote me on Wikipedia, because something he said and he didn't want it to be known to the world. So if somebody of his stature is saying so, it means there is something about Wikipedia having some information. US courts' judgments refer to Wikipedia more often than Indian courts' judgments. But in both cases, Wikipedia has yet to attain the status of reliable and primary source of info. It is not yet reliable. And the reasons behind it not being reliable, there was a gentleman yesterday who was talking about secondary source of information in Wikipedia. He did talk of it because from where this information is coming, the court doesn't know. Who is the author? Who has said it? Who will be, is the author credible enough? Is he a subject expert? A lot of things, because the court because it's deciding somebody else's right. Now, if court believes in information in Wikipedia which doesn't yet have a reliable source, there would be a problem. So it is yet to attain that status. Wikipedia in Indian courts. First uses of Wikipedia in Indian court was by none less than present Chief Justice of India. And he's from Mumbai only, Justice Kapadia. Back in 2006, he used it. He was using the understanding of the word memory. And he used in 2006. So you have judges, you have people who are relying upon it. There have been 41 instances by various high courts and Supreme Court, including 10 of Supreme Court, 11 of Delhi High Court, and twice by Bombay High Court. So they have used and they are using Wikipedia. Lately it was used by Supreme Court on March 3rd, 2011, wherein the court refused to entertain the description, the meaning given by Wikipedia of the word used there. It was a dispute of a surname called Inado, something like that. So it was a trademark issue that Inado has a different meaning in Tamil, which is today, or which is as of today, or something like that. So these meanings were not accepted by the Supreme Court, given by Wikipedia.
What were some of the exceptions?
Like common law marriage. Honorable Justice Mr. Kadju, he has been sort of too fond of Wikipedia. In majority of his judgments, he has used references from Wikipedia. Like in one of the live-in relationship case, he used definition of common law marriage given by Wikipedia. So there are three criteria that what are the constituents of a common law marriage, and a woman living with a man for last 9 years. He said that this qualifies to be a marriage. So this definition was picked up from Wikipedia. I have given a chart. 3, 6, 8 high courts have used Wikipedia more often. Gujarat has used twice, Himachal Pradesh 4 times, Karnataka and Kerala have used 5 times, Delhi has been higher, 10 times, Supreme Court 11 times. This law, what is it out to protect? It has to protect something. Why is it there? So it is to protect community rights and individual rights. Now, when there is a dispute between community rights and individual rights, the court has to see, because the importance has to go to the community rights. So when there is a dispute or conflict between that what has to be upheld, community rights are given more weightage for an obvious reason. Because if that is not given weightage, unless and until that is a violation of your fundamental rights given in the Constitution. Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution gives freedom of expression, but it is limited, it is restricted by 19(2), which has detailed, even let's say you cannot criticize a judgment to the extent it may attract contempt of court. So there are reasons and there are areas which you need to see. You need to see that if I say this sentence, if I write this sentence on the web, will it amount to contempt of court? Will it amount to something which would jeopardize safety and security of the nation? So all of these you got to see. So it's better you read out 19(1)(a). Probably Wikipedia might like to keep, put this Article 19(1)(a) and Article 19(2), that look, whatever you say on the web, you got to see that it's not violating this.
On the one hand, you're saying the court says that, and has in the latest reference said that Wikipedia is not reliable. If it is not reliable, how can anything said on it be of contempt?
Right. Sure enough. The contempt, the moment you say something against something. Now this is a definite statement. It is not an information. The court is not relying on the information given by the Wikipedia.
I don't know if such a page exists, but it's quite possible that such a page may exist. As you are well aware, Shanti Bhushan and Prashant Bhushan have issued an actual a document which is in fact filed in court, which accuses the Supreme Court justices of irregularity.
Absolutely.
Which has been regarded by the Supreme Court as a contempt of court.
Sure.
Why that page exists on Wikipedia as a contempt of court?
That page would not be contempt of court. That's an information, because there is a difference between the two. That's why I was going to say, Wikipedia, as long it continues to be a reporter, it is reporting. You're not giving an opinion. But if you say that I don't believe in this, and fortunately that line, there is a line which you are not, which Wikipedians are not crossing, because as all of you, majority of the speakers have said, it is only projecting a neutral point of view. So you're not saying that I'm siding with this opinion. So as long as, this in Indian map situation, as long as you say that this look, in fact, I don't know why there is so much hue and cry, because if you look at the UN, if you go to the UN office, United Nations office, you'll find that Indian map is exactly the way it is here on that page. And I wrote personally letters to MEA, External Affairs Ministry. Nobody responded to it. Nobody cares. But the idea is, see, that's a reality. But the problem is that as long as you are only giving information, it is fine. But the moment you opinionate, you give an opinion of yours, you say that, look, I think this is the correct situation of Kashmir. You're nobody to say that. Wikipedia is nobody to say that. You're only giving information.
The government has not said anything about UN map?
No, nothing. See, in fact, that's not the scope of my talk, but then Kashmir problem, is a mastermind of Nehru. You may not be aware, Nehru was approached by Karn Singh's father, prior to the, probably Bikram would know, and there was some attack by Pakistan, and then he came to, wanted to get merged in India. Nehru told him that go and seek the opinion from your people. Do they also want to come to India? It's written. It's a documented history. That paper exists in the archive. So Nehru said these words. That's what Pakistan is saying today to everybody. That we must seek opinion of the Kashmiri people, whether they want to go to India or not. So what I'm saying, there are problem areas.
But please remember that includes the people of POK who definitely don't want to be in Pakistan.
So, as long as you are protecting the rights of one vis-a-vis the other, so it controls, it balances out the rights of one individual vis-a-vis the other's right. That is the duty of the law, that is the duty of the government, that is the duty of the parliament. Now, it's like somebody said, hey, I would say this. You would say this, but this is violating somebody else's right. So there is somebody who is getting affected. The Constitution is as much, there to protect out your right as much as to the other rights. So there has to be a balancing act. First item in the checklist, personal interest of any nature, like direct pecuniary interest, like writing a review of a product you are interested in. You must not do that. So if it is established that what you're writing out there, you have a direct pecuniary interest, that is financial gain interest. You're appreciating your own product. Then you write something out for your own fame and name. You say that I'm this, I'm that, I'm Guinness World record holder, and I'm so popular. But that's if that is unsubstantiated, if it is not provable by you, if you don't give references, you must not do that. Business promotion, you must not do that on Wikipedia. Thankfully, Wikipedia has an inbuilt feature to take care of such a problem on such occurrences. Second item in the checklist, crimes against the state and community, like presenting the India map in a way different than what government stand is. If you give just information that this is what the world is saying and this is what government of India says, you're fine. But if you only give the world information, not the government of India, there is a problem. Blasphemous writings, hate speeches capable of disrupting communal harmony, siding with banned organizations like Maoist, fundamentalist, advocating for a banned book, or advocating for an illegal activity, gambling. You say these are the places where gambling happens, and if gambling is banned, you are in problem. Showing disrespect to Indian flag, constitution, currency, etc., they are all need not to be done. Currency as well. If you're presenting wrong and misleading and unverified information resulting in somebody's loss, some loss to the state, then that's a problem areas.
What is the definition of blasphemy?
See, blasphemy, when you say, it's a very, it's like you write something out which would hurt somebody's religious sentiments.
It's a blasphemy. That's different. That's hate speeches.
Blasphemous, let's say you write something against the Muhammad. You criticize in a way which is not acceptable to the community.
But that is not defined anywhere in the
It has to be defined. If you're saying something very vague.
No, blasphemous when you say, like, in fact, I would come to that point, that why I'm saying this. See, the problem area is that when, like these rules, which you have seen, intermediary rules which have been framed by the government. Now, there are many things, because the origin of the law, there are hierarchy. The constitution is the grand norm, the primary source of law. So any law which is made by the government has to be in conformity with the constitution. Any rules thereafter must be in conformity with the laws. So the intermediary rules, they are not, a good portion of that are not in conformity with the law. But unfortunately that mentions blasphemous writings, so I got to write it. Unless that rule is done away with, or some court gives a ruling to declare it null and void, you must not do anything of that sort.
as I said, for instance, the Constitution has this thing about your constitutional duty is to follow scientific temper and things like that. Now that would bring you down, and I can think of scientific statements which can be blasphemous. under a certain interpretation. So this would actually...
True. See, blasphemy is so far, I searched hard. Yesterday I was searching hard when I saw this intermediary rules. I didn't find any definition so far. So it's a vague area. And these vague areas are, if they're fixed, things become good for the normal, ordinary citizen.
I think that's why you made your first slide, which said that the laws are created in order to benefit certain power groups.
That's right.
See, as far as blasphemy is concerned with the rule, there's nothing in the law, nothing in any act which says that you can't write something which is blasphemy.
No, see, the idea is, the idea there is that as long as it is not causing a harm of a cognizable size, it is fine. In fact, if you look at the intermediary rules, you were talking about on that yesterday. If anybody is religiously following that, you can't live your life. You can't write anything on the web.
But it is a rule, it's not an act.
That's right.
Law act defines what is blasphemous. So how am I to know what is blasphemous?
But the rule has its genesis in the law, the IT Act.
IT Act doesn't talk about blasphemy.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I said that there are many things in these intermediary rules which you can go to a court against and procure an order.
Whether everything is coded or not, that is not necessary, but that should be fair and equitable.
Right.
That fair and equitable justice should reach to the seeker. Is it like that?
Where equitable justice should reach to?
Like as you said, if it is not coded, even if it is not coded into law also, then there should be, as you are telling, it should be the thing of fair and equitable justice.
Right. But then at the end of the day, it is left out to judicial interpretation. Then what will that be? There is scope of judicial interpretation there.
See, yesterday when we talked about the process by which these things are done,
Right.
that was in an open discussion with a larger group, in fact, this year. The point was that when the laws are framed, there is a laid down process, and even that laid down process, because we are a representational democracy, does not require them to be referred to the larger community. But what is much worse, what is much more insidious, is the framing of rules. Now, in this particular case, the draft rules were in fact publicized. Okay, it wasn't necessary for the ministry to publicize them, but they were publicized, and the ministry did invite representations. Now, I'm one of the people who put in a representation, but as it happens, it was completely ignored, and the rules were then codified exactly as the draft was created, which means that they did not take into account the responses of the community at all, and there is nothing but to go to court, which is an incredibly expensive affair for somebody like me to be able to go and challenge those rules. So,
In fact, just to add to that, in one of the seminar I asked Kapil Sibal about it. I said that if somebody sends an email to you, why can't you give a reference number? So that at least he has some idea that who received, when received, what received. I can go back to you and I ask on what grounds you did not accept my suggestion, right? But then the government machinery is government machinery. At least in today's time, they are more open than in your young age. Still, you are young enough. I'm not hinting at that. But what I'm saying, that the government is gradually, in fact, they have no option but to open up. They will open up. They're opening up. The revolutions, IT revolution is just helping the government to open up.
We need to wrap up in another
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay.
because We are
Okay.
going to start the closing ceremony.
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay, sir, that's okay. Now, third in the checklist is individuals. A crime against an individual which you can't get prosecuted unless complained. Somebody has to complain against you, like defamation. So there has to be somebody who has to go to the police station and file a complaint there, and then to the magistrate, and then file a complaint there. Then only an FIR will get lodged against you. Writings intended to outrage modesty of a woman, copyright, trademark violation, direct criticism, condemnation of a judgment, privacy rights. Now, in privacy rights, something which is done privately. Now, there were a couple sitting on the Marine Drive. Now, they were quite intimate. So, if you click their pictures and if you post on the web, it would not qualify to be a violation of privacy. It's a tough statement which I'm giving, but this will not qualify. Privacy has to be done privately. If you're doing publicly, it is open. Income from ads displayed on a copyrighted content. So that is a problem area. and it was a point of judgment as well. Check retrieving and displaying information from a website without proper references. Retrieving and displaying information from a linked commercial site that has advertising frames without displaying the site's advertisements along with the retrieved document. So you've got to be very, very careful. So if you're copying something, there were advertisements there, you've got to be copying that as well. Linking to illegal files. For example, Lycos developed a database of music and video available on the web. However, since many of the sites in the database had bootlegged copies, Lycos was taken to court for providing links to these sites.
Yeah, I think this particular instance, Google's its automatic search engine often links to illegal stuff. So Google was taken to court and they said that they can't actually do anything about it. And Google said you have to, each of them would have to apply under DMCA specific.
True. But then this case is still not decided. And you never know. If it comes to Indian court, then what will be the decision? You never know. So Indian courts behave in a very different way. Intellectual property rights, trade secret protection, copyright protection, trademark protection, patents. I don't have much time. I've been only given 5 minutes. A copyright is an end in itself. Copyright is of something. Trademark is not of something. Trademark has to be indicative to something. So when you say a line, it's like any line which you use an advertisement for a product. That line is a trademarked line. It can't be copyrighted. Okay. So it has to be indicative to some product, some service. Copyright, a lot of people have said, it's like Britney Spears or some other singer, they have sung song on love. That song is copyrightable, but not the idea of love. Okay. Very true. So the expression is copyrighted, not the idea. There is no copyright in the idea. And just paraphrasing will not help you.
Sometimes trademark can be integrated to copyright also. Like for example, as we know that non-traditional trademarks like smell marks or these sound marks and all.
Sure. So what idea there is that trademark has to be always indicative to something else. Service mark has to be always indicative to something else. So if there is an advertisement, so the graphics, the text can be copyrighted. But let's say a catchy line which has to be indicative to some object, some service, that would be trademarked. So it could be a combination of the two, you're right. Copyright is a form of protection provided to the authors of original works of authorship. These definitions you can read on your own. They are easily available in the Copyrights Act. I'll go further. Why is it there certain minimum safeguards for the rights of author? Because at the end of the day, the creator has to be equally awarded. There has to be something for the creator to get interested in doing a thing of value. That's how this copyright idea has been there. So, for a period of life of the author, plus 60 years, if it is author-based calculation. If it is a publication-based calculation, it is 60 years from the publication. So till then, you cannot be using it without the expressed consent, not implied consent, expressed consent of the author.
Did you say equal right?
Sorry?
Did you say equal right? Equal remuneration. That the author should get equal remuneration.
No, it has to be between you, the user, because this copyright can be passed on to somebody for some arrangement. So you...
Very quickly, if an author gets 10% royalties from a book,
Right.
and it is established that the publisher has made 30% of the cost and the rest goes in distribution, etc., does that mean that the publisher is in fact violating the copyright of the author?
That is why it is called always copyright related. So copyright as a single entity, it never exists. It is always with the related.
Right. See, the idea there is that at the end of the day, you are entering into a relationship. There is a contractual obligation of the publisher vis-a-vis you. Okay. As long as this behavior and the action of the publisher is in conformity with the contract which you entered into with the author, that's fine. You can later on say that I was under pressure to sign this contract.
Like if you consider the case of Convocation or Opal, it was a real case of plagiarism. So in the case of Wiki wiki, if somebody is doing the same thing, like just copying the things, and I mean it is not his own idea, and the expression also, if it is in textual, so in that case, within the scope of employment, that Wikipedia should be brought into the, justice. That should be the thing, no? That will fit.
I'm just talking of the exceptions possible. The certain conditions, a fair deal for research, study, criticism, review, and news reporting, as well as the use of works in library, in schools, and in the legislatures, permitted without specific permissions. So what all are the exceptions possible? For the purpose of research or private study, for criticism or review, for reporting current events in connection with judicial proceeding, performance by an amateur club or society if the performance is given to a non-paying audience, and the making of the sound recordings of literary, dramatic, or musical works under certain conditions. So the idea is that as long as you're not exploiting the work of the copyrighted material for any financial gain, if it cannot be termed exploitation, but the problem here is that the Wikipedia content is free to be used commercially as well. So there is the catch.
No, so that's Wikipedia is not at fault then. It's whoever used it commercially is at fault.
No. You are abetting the crime.
For example, when you
How could you abet a crime which hasn't taken place?
So if it takes place, you abetted the crime. If it takes place.
whoever goes to Wikipedia, that is under license. So these give a license for a person to use it. The user has a license to use it. Yes. So there is no crime involved.
No. The idea there is the whole chain has to be seen. Who's the person who posted it? The person who's hosting it? The person who's transmitted this content to that host?
If that is an original content, please give a license to the user.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if it is a copied content, then there is a problem. So the author can always give anybody any right as to his work. That's not a problem. The problem comes when somebody else is exploiting somebody else's work. The problem lies there. That's right.
There should be some remedial measurement for that also. For example, if I say, if you upload something that is copyrighted, so within few hours we can see that thing has been deleted from there. So why don't you have these kind of measurements over there? I mean,
See, the gentleman was talking about the Google has such a policy.
yeah.
So in fact, the intermediary rules also talk of that. The moment you bring to the notice, to the knowledge of the hosting provider, to the service provider, he has to act within 36 hours of your notice. Okay? It is not, but what all are objectionable, that is objectionable. Because n number of things are given, and I think vis-a-vis the freedom of expression granted by the Constitution, not all of them can be stopped. There is a very thin line there. As long as there is an ample amount of innovation which has gone in that change, it's a question of dispute vis-a-vis the original author of the work. In fact, to present the work in any other mode is also the right of the copyright holder. You have to seek permission. In fact, there have been a lot of
Provided he's taken that copyright in the first place.
That's
Provided he's declared that copyright. For instance, if I as an author of a book talk only about the book, then I do not have rights to a film made on that book.
the moment you have not to go to the copyright office to get a copyright in your work. The moment you write something, there is a copyright of yours.
Only to what I write,
That's right.
not to a book of...
No, anything. They come associated rights.
You have to declare your copyright.
Associated
not
rights.
in any other form, including electronic reproduction.
The law is that the moment you have a work, then anything which comes out directly without any enough modification it's a very thin line. It's a law point. Associated works do get protected by copyright law. 1980s, the early part of the decade appeared to be remarkably free of bans, but this was because broader, all-encompassing rules had now been framed. Any book that time that misrepresented India's borders was confiscated by customs. 1980s. It's a part of the news. And released only after offending frontiers had been manually corrected. And I was talking about the map. Wikipedia could have easily given the reference of UN link, and it could have said that this is the UN's point of view, not the author point of view, and then could have also given the map of India as per the Government of India standards. Other problem areas, I don't have much time, so I'll not go into that. I can make it available if you want. See, this point, Arnav was talking of aggressive neutrality. Nothing called that. You are basically having a position of a judge. You cannot give your opinion. You are there only to present facts, opinions of various other people. That's what Wikipedia has to do. The moment Wikipedia starts giving its own opinion about the content, there is a problem. Ways ahead for Wikipedia. Since Wikipedia has attained a reputation of being authentic, at least for the ordinary purposes, it has invited responsibility of being authentic for all purposes. Subject experts should approve the article before making the same live, or should at least warn if not verified. So the articles can have some sort of declaration that it has not been approved by subject experts to make it more authentic. Needs to be educating its users on what constitutes a violation or what does not. Must become culturally sensitive. After all, it is serving the people laden with deep conditioning to their cultural beliefs.
So Wikipedia, as we all know, is one of the fastest growing information platform in the world. Almost 41% of the users, they use Wikipedia for the primary reference website. And more than the primary reference, it's also an information website for professional peoples like doctors, engineers, architects, etc. And on the other hand, if you see, the social media is also gaining prominence across the World Wide Web. So I thought that we could involve some methodologies which can help Wikipedia through the social media presence. This is actually a proposal I'm making to Wikipedia. The aim of this proposal is to identify the positive effects of social media and then tap them potentially and help Wikipedia grow. So how did it actually start? We are working as testing analysts. We work on the software section of the company. So I was just thinking, if I could make a survey with around 100 people and see what they feel about Wikipedia, and I thought we can come to a conclusion on this. The PDF out there is the Facebook results, the survey results. I can show you after the presentation. So what I found out of the thing was 58% of the users, they use internet to learn about something which they don't know. And amazingly, only 1% of them use Wikipedia. Now that is really alarming, I should say that. And everybody out here would be more inclined towards Microsoft and its product, but how many of us here know that Microsoft is having its own search service called the Bing? Okay, what is Bing? B-I-N-G? No, it is, but it's not Google. So how many of us know that? But we say we are more inclined towards Microsoft than Apple. So there are many places which we people don't really get into the depths of it to know. And all we know is, oh, okay, Google it, you will find it. So, okay, I found it from Google, I should say. So 21% of the users say that they use Wikipedia because it is the first search result written by Google. We don't really go to Wikipedia and search. We search on Google. The first link is Wikipedia. We click on it. And 17% say that they use Facebook to learn about the community pages of people. And we all know that Facebook is very important and prevalent across the World Wide Web. But 17% of its users always stay out of its chat service. They don't really want to socialize. So what was the key takeaway from this survey is that we understand that users don't behave in a way we expect them to behave. But we can categorize them into certain groups and sections based on their internet using trend, professions, demography, etc. So the idea which I thought was, why not we create a software or a plugin that would automatically help transfer data between the networking websites and Wikipedia. So that means at least through this, Wikipedia will get more people involved in it directly or at least indirectly through the websites. So we create a plugin using JavaScript and PHP as the front end. And what it will do is it will take your data from your user profile in Wikipedia and share them on the Facebook profile, and take data from Facebook profile and share them on your Wiki user page. What exactly it does is that this is a web-based plugin. So in case I'm reading an article, say on Harvard Business School, and I found it to be really interesting, I'll share that on my Facebook page using the plugin which I created. It will automatically create a page called Share on My Wiki. There's a page called My Wiki which I create on Facebook. It will go and share it there, and automatically my friends can go to that page and see the articles, and if they find it interesting, they'll click on the link which will come to Wikipedia. And we have many metrics through which we maintain a user's profile. So the users, we'll categorize them into different verticals and horizontals. Horizontals are the subjects with which we learn the verticals. Say, assuming data mining is a paper, it's a vertical. And this data mining can be learned using horizontal technologies like Java, .NET, testing, C#, etc. So a vertical is cut across by many horizontals. And every, yeah. Yeah, that's what. Actually, we are first trying to work it on the Facebook only, but we'll then have the compatibility versions which will work on Twitter, Orkut, LinkedIn, Share, Stumble, etc. And then if the user finds the information to be important, this page called MyWiki, share on MyWiki, he can put it on the page MyWiki. The users will see it from that page and go to Wikipedia. And we have, I've attached 2 screenshots. This is my user page, and I have the share on MyWiki link in red color. Say I've read about Harvard Business School and I like it, and it goes and reflects on my Facebook page with a W symbol next to it. And that W symbol means this is from the Wikipedia, I mean using the plugin. So users can use it directly.
That's not correct, because you've actually read a page of Harvard Business School, which is a Harvard Business School link.
Yes.
It's got nothing to do with Wikipedia at all.
Yeah, but the link resides inside the Wikipedia. It's more like a like feature, but on a very broad level. And what are the features of the plugin is that apart from the information sharing across the social media and the World Wide Web, we give some ratings to the users, like the LQ rating is the learner's quotient rating. And this rating is the user's learning activities in Wikipedia. And say for example, I read an article and I like it and I share it on my wiki page in Facebook. If you come and visit that page and you click on that, and if you find information to be interesting, I'll be given LQ ratings. It's more like, giving them some free goodies so that people will do it on a regular basis. We have something called the SMP rating, social media prominence rating. It is a measure of the user's inclination towards social learning. See, we all do social networking. I go to Facebook, I have a lot of friends from Bangladesh, from India, Pakistan, I have fun. But what is social learning? We are not inclined to it as much as we are into social networking. See, this is the basic agenda. See, networking sites today, they have transformed themselves from a social agenda of networking to another level of social agenda, which is social learning. See, now we have Wikipedia, which is almost like an open source. It's like anybody can go find, read, edit. So, but this is not being happening on all websites like the Scribed or, there are many websites which give only protected papers. And if I do this using Wikipedia, then people will have access to more information. So we can elevate the level of social networking to social learning, which means more people will have more access to information. And also there is something called a POS. POS is probability of sharing. There are some algorithms in data mining called the a priori algorithm, which I have written a paper on that at the IIM Calcutta. What will happen is that this algorithm will automatically say what is the probability of a particular user to share the information he is reading. Say for example, he is reading about Bombay. Let's say Mumbai. Okay, what is the probability that this particular person X is going to share this link on my Facebook? It will calculate using the a priori algorithm. I've written it in red colors. So that it's used in data mining, it will share. So based on the ratings, we give them some rankings like novice learner to a learning leader, etc. It's just progressing across different ranks.
I think this whole concept, pardon my interjecting right now, this concept is basically not recognizing the existence of a different level of user, so we say self-esteem, which is called NIMS basically, either pseudonymization or anonymization, which is actually heavily supported by Wikipedia and is not at all supported by Facebook. As you must have read with Salman Rushdie.
So what I'm trying to do is that if I bring this plugin into real use in real world, there are always two sides of a coin. So there can be options where Facebook will also bring in more people to learn, and we'll be like the forerunners. We are the founding fathers of this. So if this is implemented, actually it's partially implemented. I have hired like a few developers in Chennai. We are working on this because I'm in the testing part. I test the applications and they develop the applications.
I think it's a suggestion, coming from the same point, right? This might be a little easier for Twitter in that sense, in terms of the anonymity and linking in that sense.
Yes.
So it would be easy even for someone who has an anonymous account who uses Twitter as opposed to something like Facebook or Google Plus, which requires a real user.
Yeah, username and password. No, but we just thought, Facebook was really nice, so we'll start doing. Yeah, I understand.
At the end of the day, when we suggesting it for the universities, schools and colleges, there is a live example which goes in my college. Whenever we are sharing something, we have a group in Facebook and we post the pages from Wikipedia. So this is an extensive tool which will be enhancing that process.
Exactly.
So yeah, you are absolutely right. In certain cases, the pseudonyms and the anonymous are required, but in certain cases like schools and colleges, I think it will be more appropriate to have the Facebook plugin because
Absolutely.
it will be
not discounting. I'm just saying there's an additional
Yeah, definitely.
option.
So this is the future. The future, what I'm trying to do is that once this plugin is implemented and accepted by the Wiki Foundation as, okay, we can put them into Wikipedia and put them into real use, we'll go talk to universities and colleges, schools, and ask them to form different groups. Like a professor can head a group, say on psychology. So the psychology students will have a Wiki user page and also a Facebook user page. So if the professor finds an article interesting, he'll put it in Facebook, it comes in Wikipedia. So it's like having the same information at two places so that more people can use them. It's not duplication, it's just having them available across all levels. So that is what I'm trying to achieve, and the development is almost in progress. We have like 6 developers working on it in Chennai. So probably we'll make it live in like 1 or 2 months. Thank you so much. Any questions? And like if you want to give some comments, you can go and put it in my wiki user page. I'm user:ADETHYA. I'm the only Aditya on Wikipedia, so please find me ADETHYA. Thank you so much.